Hi guys, it's Floz. This is a FlozTube video. Today it's 7th of July, the Sunday, and yeah, it has been a while since I made my last cross-stitch update video. So I think that one was end of April. And today's video, I'll try to update you on the whole month of May and June. I know first week of July has already passed, but to be honest, I've only stitched one day, so I'm just gonna ignore that. Because I need to update you on 2 months of stuff, this is gonna be a really long video. I've decided to divide this video in 2 sections. The first one will be this one, so it will be a WIP update, so work in progress update, and also personal update. So I'll tell you what has been happening that made me feeling quite down, and then all the other things that happened after or around it. And also, yeah, so the second video will be my haul and also my plan for this month, July, or maybe the next few months. So yeah, you'll see I am kind of fumbling for words, because if you haven't done this for a little bit, you kind of fall out of habit of what to say, what to do. Since it's going to be, you know, divided up, and I just decided to not do my normal video format, I guess let's just roll with it. So I normally would ask you a question, and I think the last few videos I might have forgotten. This time the question is not cross-stitch related. So what happened was, my parents bought this. So I am from a coastal city in China, and my parents a few years ago bought this nice-ish apartment very close to the beach, but because it's sort of higher up, you get to see the sea. And my question to you is, if you have such an apartment and you really, really like it, and you haven't even stayed there yet because it's, you know, it was just renovated, you still like cleaning it up and stuff, and one of your friends asks you, oh, your place is so nice, can I stay there? Or my children are getting married, they need a place to get ready, can my children stay there? Would you say yes or would you say no? Because this happened to my mom, so I'm curious what you'd do. So she said she was put on the spot because I think beforehand, this friend must have been to the place already and saw, oh, it was all, you know, nicely decorated, and the view was good. So then after their, like, I guess you would say like a reunion, she sort of asked her in front of all the other people, oh, my son is getting married, you know, this time. Do you think my son and the future daughter-in-law can stay at your place for like 2 days? And my mom was like quite embarrassed at the time, and she didn't want to say no, so she kind of said, sort of like a very forced, yeah, we'll talk about it. But would you just put them on the spot and say, how dare you ask me, or like it's a straight no? Let me know. Okay, so let's just jump straight into WIPs, I guess. Now, I have my notes here because otherwise I wouldn't know what the hell I'll be talking about. The last cross-stitch video I made was published on 29th of April. So I'm assuming I would have made or filmed that video on the weekend, so the Sunday. So all this will be covering all the time from that weekend to, I guess, 30th of June. Okay, so if you've watched my home stitching retreat video, you would have known I was working on Scrap, Taddy and Pip and finished it. And yeah, this is my first WIP that I worked on during that time. I stitched it for 4 days, and here I said 8 hours, and I finished it on the 4th of May, yeah, during that video, and you would have seen the, you know, the full thing. Unfortunately, I don't have it anymore because I also fully finished it. So what happened was that project, which sort of looks like this. This is like a very whitened version of what the project actually looks like. And the reflection would be from a ring light that's in front of me. So that project was for my mother-in-law anyway, and her birthday was in like at the start of June. And there was going to be a meetup in the city during the week, which I was excluded because I had to work. So I couldn't make it. So that had to be fully finished before that, so that she could take it, because after that she would go on this, I guess, scooter trip with her dog, Scrappy, around Australia. She used to love traveling, like going overseas so much, but now she's getting quite old, you know, she's over 60 years old. So she still wanted to travel, then it would be within Australia. And she's already like in Western Australia, I think, when she called yesterday. Anyway, so that's gotta be fully finished. So like that weekend before I was scrambling to get it finished, I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know whether it would work. So, you know, sometimes when you're very unsure of something and you know that has to be done, you would just procrastinate until the last minute, until you absolutely have to do it. Then very quickly you get it done. And that's what happened to me. Because I don't have that one anymore, so I will insert a little clip right after I fully finished it and explain to you where I got everything and I guess how I made it. So I'll insert it here. Hello, just a quick video about my very recent FFO of Scrap, Taddy and Pip. I always knew I wanted to display it in a way that's not behind glass. Well, technically not a traditional frame. I was hoping it would be able to get displayed rather than just hung on the wall. So then I was in search of some kind of tray, and then I found this marble tray from Kmart. Technically, it was pretty perfect for the width or the length, I guess, but not the height. Because, yeah, there's going to be quite a lot of excess fabric there. But I decided to go with it anyway because I couldn't find any other trays that have better dimensions. So what I did was I cut this self-adhesive foam board from Office Work to the inside dimension of this marble tray. And then I kind of fixed the edges with this steel pin. There we go. Short steel pin. And the original plan was to, I guess, like, what's the word? Stick everything like onto this marble tray and completely fix it. But then after I wedge this whole thing in, I realized it's quite snug. So unless you really pick it out, it's not coming out very easily. I reckon I'll just leave as is. Well, as you can see, it's not perfect because you can see the indents made from all the pin positions of the pins. I suppose I could technically make the pins more towards the back, so then the indentations don't show as much, but I reckon I'll just leave as is. This plate frame stand was from Amazon. It has this wood look, but it's actually made of cheap stuff. The tray itself, because it's marble, so it's quite heavy. I was very nervous about whether this stand would hold such a heavy weight, but it's doing okay. It looks quite stable as well. I think I'll put all the links in the description box as usual if I can include it. And technically, if I want to really hide all the imperfections, I could get some kind of pom-pom or trim or something and just like glue it all the way there. But I feel like then that might take the shine away from the project itself, because then there's too much going on. So I kind of prefer to just leave as is. So this one will be a birthday gift for my mother-in-law. Clearly it's not perfect because I think there's a lot of blank space here, so ideally the whole thing should be more towards the left and maybe like more shifted to the bottom, but for first time fully finish like this, I'm rather happy and proud of it. And yeah, that's my check-in done. Floz out. So yeah, that's it. So that's how I finished it. I was planning to fully glue it in actually. So I even purchased glue gun and glue. I made sure that glue is definitely for fabrics as well. But like the whole thing was so snug inside that marble tray. It's really hard. So I shaked it really violently and it wouldn't come out. It wouldn't budge. So I thought, okay, let's just keep it as is. Because just in case, she wanted to do something else with it, or eventually I want to frame it or whatever, I could still take it out and it won't destroy anything. So yeah, I was overall pretty happy with it, considering it's my very first sort of proper fully finished project by myself. And I was also very happy to find the picture holder thing on Amazon, and that looked pretty nice considering it's not exactly that expensive. And then the same weekend, since I was fully finishing stuff anyway, I had this DesignWorks coffee break that was finished last year, at I think the end of the year or something, as my pretty big finish. And it was just sitting there, and because of its size, I thought it's not that fancy of a thing, so I'll just finish it myself. Otherwise, it would be very expensive to get it professionally framed, because it's pretty much an A3. Well, I thought it was exactly A3. That's why I thought, okay, finding a frame that would fit will be so easy. So yeah, I got some cheap frame, and it's A3, and right now it's hanging, it's hanging there. I will probably do a close-up video for you. So when I ended up measuring it out, because I also got a 5mm it's a foam board from Officeworks, and when I measured it out, I realized it wasn't quite A3, because like in terms of like the length, A3 is longer than this project, but the width, A3 is a bit smaller. So because of that, I was kind of torn. Oh, should I get it professionally framed? Because then it wouldn't look very good. But then I thought, oh, stuff it. I'll just, squeeze it in. And yeah, when I finished it, you couldn't quite see like the very edge of the project, the border, it gets cut off. And also because I used like the pins to pin the project onto the foam board, it kind of makes the length even longer. Then when I was trying to push it into the frame, it wouldn't quite go in. So some of the pin had to like warp, or if they were really warped, I had to like take them out. So yeah, you can see like the edge wasn't quite straight and there was all these problems. I was thinking, oh, I would do some lacing, but I was so lazy, so I didn't do it. Yeah, that's also why it wasn't like quite flat on the edges. But for now, it's just, yeah, hanging there and it looks okay enough. So because I didn't really super fix anything, I suppose once I decided, okay, I'm so sick of this, not perfectly fully finished project, I'm gonna get it professionally done, then I'll do it. But for now, yeah, it's good enough just decorating that little wall. And this is, yeah, our dining room. So after I finished 𝓕𝓵𝓸𝔃𝓽𝓾 and Pip, during my little cross-stitch retreat at home, I then did a new start. Do I have it? So it's called Pianist, and this is not a kit that I bought myself. A few years ago, I took part in this, I think it was an Aussie national-wide. So I was in like quite a few Aussie cross-stitch groups, and this was like, yeah, like a national-wide Secret Santa thing. So this kit was part of the Secret Santa gifts I got. Otherwise, I don't think I would pick this out myself, but I'm kind of glad that I've got it. So it's an RTO kit, and this is my very first RTO. I've never really stitched it before, and this is all the colors. It's got quite a bit of colors. It's stitched on 16 count, and the final project will be 25 by 25 centimeters. So that's what it looks like. There is 0 back stitching. So I moved on to this one, and I only stitched it for 2 days. So during the home retreat period, and those 2 days I stitched for 9.5 hours. And normally I would start in the middle, because with a kit you never know how much fabric they give you. So just in case you count it, incorrectly, you would just start in the middle and then work your way up to the edges, wherever you like. But this one, I've decided, okay, enough is enough. I don't like starting in the middle because my brain works better if I can go from left to right. So I ended up counting and start from the left. And this is my progress. If I counted correctly, there's actually quite a lot of fabric left over. So fingers crossed I am correct. Otherwise I'll be stuffed. So I stitched that. Not sure whether it's like a butler. Do you call that a butler? I'm gonna stitch that bit. Not heaps of progress, but fun enough because I got to stitch quite a few colors, especially the red. I did enjoy stitching the red. And what else to tell you? So with this one, I decided it's not a very desirable kit in general. Normally with my charts, I would take a picture or scan the chart into a PDF and mark it off digitally and leave the chart sort of unmarked and decide what to do with it later. But this one, I thought no one's going to want it anyway. So I actually physically marked on the chart, which was different from the other ones. And then the next one I worked on was Winter Cabin. And we're still in May right now. Winter Cabin, do I have it? Okay. So Winter Cabin is a Dimensions Gold Collection kit. I was encouraged by Laura from I Stitch Birds to purchase this one on Amazon because at the time it was very cheap. And then after I purchased it, it went even cheaper. So then we started this one together last year in Vic Stitch Retreat. And I don't know, it's been more than a year, hey. So with this one, it's stitched on 16 count 𝓕𝓵𝓸𝔃𝓃𝓽𝓾, I think. I stitched it for 6 days and altogether about 9.5 hours. My goal at the time was to reach 25% and I did it. So now I'm at 25.8%. And during that 6 days, I stitched 1,372 stitches. And this is what it looks like now. So the first quarter is almost done, but not quite. I think I've still got some underneath the cabin to fill out, and yeah, quite a lot of back stitching. I've done a little bit, but not all. So there's still quite a bit to go. I'll get closer. And obviously there will be like a comparison a comparison photo next to it. What's to note? I can't remember whether last time when you saw it there was this bit, but I'm pretty sure it was like one of the rocks towards the bottom. And then the end will possibly be roughly there. So it's still quite enjoyable. Do I like the back stitching? I don't know, I think compared to normal cross stitch or half stitch, I don't like back stitching as much, but they do bring out the very itty bitty details of a project. So I don't hate them. I just tend to leave them till a bit later because I hate not being able to finish a strand. So that's it. I think the other day Laura was telling me she reached, was it 15% or something? And she was doing the bottom half, the bottom left half, so down here. So we were pretty much exactly opposite, which is interesting. I sort of stitch, I think I stitched like horizontally and from top to bottom, whereas she stitches up and down. So maybe that's why it's easier for her to like do bottom up. I don't know, but I prefer top to bottom. And technically then the next thing I worked on was bunnies, but because I worked bunnies both May and June, and also kind of not consistently like in a huge chunk, so I'll do bunnies last. But then the next one I worked on was Paris in Flowers. So it is also a kit. Let me just chuck this one in. I think if I try to clean up all in the end, I just won't do it. So just bear with me. I can't put it in. Oh boy. Is that it? So it is a kit by 𝓕𝓵𝓸𝔃𝔃𝓽𝓾, and it is also a gift. So one of my friends bought me this as a birthday present a few years ago. It is a very big one. It is stitched on 18 count. I think pretty much just backstitch and full cross with 2 strands. There's like nothing too fancy in terms of techniques with this kit. It's just really big. And yeah, lots of colors. What else can I tell you? So this is part of like a series of projects I want to do as my grand plan. I want to stitch, I guess, at least one project per country JP and I have visited. And yeah, this will be for France, which we visited, wow, 7 years ago now, eh? No, 6 years ago, 2018. Yeah, 6 years ago during our honeymoon. We only stayed in France for 2 nights. So it was quite short. And what can I tell you? So I stitched this one from May to June, but like in a chunk. So altogether 9 days, and I stitched on it for 15.5 hours. So the goal for this one was to hit 15%. I can't remember what percentage I was on before. But now I am at 15.07%. And I stitched 1,982 stitches. Let's do it, guess, like this. I can't see. So I'm just gonna put it on my right, but possibly your left. And I'm gonna put a comparison picture next to it. So before I scanned the charts and used good notes to mark it off. So you just eyeball it and highlight whatever you stitched. And sometimes I'll miss certain things and then get confused. But then Laura gave me the cross-stitch saga file for this. So because of that, I don't have to worry about, you know, I need to stay inside this page so I can move on to the next one. Otherwise I can't go in between pages. I can go anywhere I want. So the typical, you know, finding the starting spot on the top left came to me again, and I think this is the corner. So I reached the corner Right now I'm on like the first one out of 8 pages, I think. And I didn't touch any of this side at all. Because, yeah, Sky's boring. Sky is very huge, like blocky color of just maybe 2 things interchangeable. Yeah, so I'm not looking forward to that. Right now, I am deep in Greenville. Yep. It is just really big, isn't it? For a kid, this is a pretty big one, but it should look amazing. I guess technically I can do some back stitching on the building already and also the lamp, but I don't think I have. Yeah, I have not yet. Because yeah, I mentioned previously I would hate to backstitch and not be able to finish one length at all. So I'll wait to complete a bit more things to backstitch on and then backstitch different sections altogether. So that's this one. I don't think it's that important, but I guess it's interesting to know. The Pianist and Paris in Flowers share the same project bag. It's not like a standard project bag because it has different compartments. There's a pocket on the outside and there's also a zipper for a bigger compartment. The Pianist sits on the outer one and Paris in Flowers sits on the bigger pocket. And that saves me one bag. And I think this one was from JK's Cross Stitch Supplies. It was one of Juju's carryalls. And I recently did purchase from JK's Cross Stitch Supplies. And I was just looking around. She still carries like Juju's carryall, but I don't think she has this type of stuff anymore. Don't remember seeing it. Oh, I missed the preview. And I recently got this mug from Meek. It's like an Asian store with a lot of cute stuff in Emporium in Melbourne. I also bought like a blue one. I think this is like a jellyfish mug. It's just so iridescent. It's so pretty and it has a smiley face. So yeah, when I saw it, I just thought, oh, it brightens up my day. So I bought a pair and clearly this is mine and the blue one is JP's. Okay, so I can show you the last thing I worked on. It's Bunnies. I think it's better to just show you the preview like digitally rather than showing you on my iPad because it doesn't look very good. So Bunnies is a chart I purchased on Etsy. It's from Light Unicorn Designs. This seller tends to do like a wreath, like circlet sort of design on all kinds of stuff. I think I saw one that I'm kind of interested. It might be the grey wall. So most of her stuff were kind of floral or maybe like a paint splash, so watercolor sort of style. This one is also a gift for a friend that designed the face logo for me and JP. And yeah, she didn't charge anything for it. She also painted a, now you would say, mural for Amy, our first and last greyhound, a previous girl that has passed away. So yeah, she has, I hope they're still alive. She has 2 really, really senile bunnies. I think they're past like 10 years old already. So the bunnies look like the bunnies in this chart. So I'm just stitching this and hopefully to, yeah, gift it to her. At the start of the year, she just had a girl as well. So yeah, ever since we haven't even visited them at all. even though they live somewhat close by. So, Bunnies. I think Bunnies was charted as a full coverage, but all the background technically was like a cream color, and I don't want to waste my time stitching that. So mine, it's stitched on a very light blue hand-dyed fabric by 𝓕𝓵𝓸𝔃𝔃𝓽𝓾 design. It's 16 count. It's called Blue Sky. I don't think it will show up very well because my wall is blue. So what do I do? This one I stitched 10 days in May and 5 days in June. Like towards the end, I'll show you. May, I think, was a pretty good stitching month, and my throat is getting sore. But June was not, because I was doing other things and I was getting distracted with gaming and stuff as well. So yeah, 5 days in June, although each day I did put in more hours than May. So the 10 days in May, I stitched for 13.5 hours and altogether 1,302 stitches. And the 5 days in June totaled up to 10.5 hours, 1,162 stitches. And altogether, it's 2,464 stitches all up in the 2 months. And I stitched on it for 24 hours. Now, I will show you what it looks like now. I think there should be a pretty big difference. So you'll see the change first, and then I'll explain something, because something weird happened. So I think other than, wow, because I can't see what you see, other than maybe this bit, this bunny's all done. But yeah, now I'm just working on this bunny's face. And I try not to always focus on the bunny itself because it's really easy to do it. The colors are more blocky. You get more progress if you just focus on the bunny. Whereas the wreath itself, lots of color changes, and you get a few stitches there, a few stitches here. It's very hard to focus, so your progress is very slow, and it's very easy to just try to leave it till the end and get tortured later. So I try to kind of change it up and make some progress on the wreath itself and then do some on the bunny, sort of break it up. So yeah, I guess, can you tell this is blue? Not quite, hey? The overall goal is to finish this one by the end of the year. And I think I am on track for it. Now, I'm going to explain because I think last time when I saw you, the percentage would have been something like in between 50 to 60% or whatever. But then I don't know what happened. I think, because right now I am using Markup RXP to mark this one, but maybe it got updated or something, and like the counting of it got better. So what happened with this chart was, I think maybe it would be more suitable to do Saga or some of the other softwares. But with Markup RXP, it kind of reads funny. So even though I tried really hard to line up the grids, it still reads individual squares funny. And because even though it's like the same symbol, it could get cut off here, added with another symbol there. So they all read the same symbol like differently, as if they're different colors. Because of that, yeah, the percentage could be wrong or whatever. So after the supposed update, the percentage suddenly changed up to, let's say 70% or 68 or something. And I just went, huh? So now I am at 78.16%. Now, technically that's still a fail because I was hoping to get to 80% in June, but that didn't happen. So yeah. I think what also changed was technically I finished, the first couple of pages, especially the pages on the bunny that's almost fully finished. So I just chose like mark all, like that function, and maybe that sort of screwed up the percentage a little bit as well. But since I'm almost at 80%, I think I'm definitely on track to finish this one by the end of the year. So yeah, I'll just keep tagging along. And that's all I worked on. Not a whole lot. Yeah, I think last month I was being very lazy. I normally would show you like what the calendar looks like in terms of, these are the days I worked on each project. Clearly, I would not do for this month because there's just too many things to cover. But what I might do is I will put maybe the days I've stitched in May as a tick here, calendar, and then I'll put June here. So you could see how different the 2 months are. What I normally do is if I've stitched on a project, and this is, from this o'clock to this o'clock I stitched on this project, I would put it in as an event on my calendar in my phone. And June just looked pathetic. It's like so far from each other and very few compared to May. So yeah, there you go. So yeah, in June May I was feeling a bit down as well, but June I was more preoccupied. Like I was doing a lot of thread sorting and also doing, a lot of gaming. So a lot of nights I ended up just doing that instead of stitching. And that's it for the I guess WIP updates. Now I'm going to talk about life update. And this bit might also be long because a lot of things did happen and I did get really frustrated and upset and anxious, I guess. So if you get triggered by, I guess, cursing, maybe don't watch it. I don't know. Because in real life, yeah, I do swear. Whereas in videos, I try to be, as, I guess, respectful as I can. Because, yeah, I know a lot of people, well, especially, how do I say, some, like, older ladies, they get really triggered by, like, swear words. So I think start of June, I did make a post saying like mentally I wasn't in the best place to make an update video. So I'll just like take a pause, focus on getting better. And then I'll see you when I see you, which is this month. And a lot of things kind of trigger that. So let's just go from the most shallow part of it all, in terms of like the appearance. Now it started possibly when I started trying out this like blemish gel from I think CeraVe, And I thought, okay, I tend to have like pimples, so I get blemishes. Not like heaps, but sort of during ovulation or like before ovulation, and also, the time of the month. So I could be getting hormonal like half of a cycle, getting pimples here and there. That's normal. And I accept the fact. But ever since I started using that gel, this whole like chin area, multiple really cystic, deep, very large pimples started coming up. And it's mostly here. And I think sometimes they could be like here, or I think around the nose. But at one point, I think it was getting pretty bad when we went to Great Ocean Road, like in April, sort of that time. But it wasn't getting better. Now, I read the product and it said this could happen and your skin might be trying to purge or something. It could take 4 to 8 weeks. But even towards the 8 weeks, it wasn't getting better. And the chin was like a battleground. There was like scars and sort of pigmentation everywhere. I mean, right now I've got makeup on, but without it, you could still see sort of 7 or something here, and there's a big-ish one here. So I wasn't feeling the best. And then last time when I dyed my hair, it was last year, like before my birthday, so in October. So I haven't dyed my hair for like 10 months. Oh, actually, 9 months. And I've always had grey hair. So I started having grey hair when I was 10. And people thought that was crazy. But I'm pretty sure I found my very first grey hair when I was 10. And gradually it just got worse and worse until maybe the last, even the 5 years wasn't too bad. Maybe the last 3 years or so, it was getting really bad. But at the time, I was deep into dyeing my hair and stuff. So it didn't seem too bad. But now I've had a huge pause. Does it show on camera? It's super salt and pepper. And every time I look at myself in the mirror, it was giving me, maybe not grief, but I was just not happy about it. Now, the reason why I didn't dye my hair, the hairdresser that was dealing with my hair moved away because she got a very messy divorce and she's got like a disabled son to look after, and they couldn't, I guess, quite settle on the house, so she had to sell it and move away, and she stopped doing hairs. I don't know where she is. And I feel like finding another hairdresser, which I am doing now because I want to rectify the situation, is really tiring. Especially I'm not living in an area that's like super Asian, so you need people that know your hair or are confident with dealing with Asian hair to do it, to give you like better results. Because, our hair's tough and also very dark. Plus, to make it even harder, I have salt and pepper hair as well. So yeah, it's just so, and also we are family planning, so I thought, okay, if I can give it the best shot, I can, not touch as much chemical as I can, I would leave it. So yeah, that's why I haven't really touched up or anything for so long, multiple reasons. But yeah, I think it's time to do something about this hair. And also, I was also sort of unhappy with my weight. Not to do, like, we call it 外貌焦虑, like to make you anxious about how you look. But I don't know, I'm just not, I have not accepted the fact that I am at the weight I am right now. And it's been quite a while since I gained quite a lot of weight. At first I blamed it, like I blamed it on like the hypothyroidism, and I thought I rectified that with just taking low dose 𝓕𝓵𝓸𝔃𝓃𝓮, but the weight is not getting shed. So that kind of bothered me as well. And I think the weight is causing problems, not just like, oh, my size went up, but also like my back, the knees, they're also sort of giving me problems. Clearly I'm aging, but I don't think the extra weight helped either. So that's the, I guess, appearance side of things that made me kind of down. And then also, on top of that, I'm hoping this is the last time I'll ever mention it, because I don't want to sound like a whiny bitch. Yeah, the channel situation wasn't giving me a lot of confidence as well. So I think it's like second nature for me to do, like going into something and having a certain expectation, and there's always like a goal sort of at some point you should hit. And this channel has, I guess, missed so many goals. And technically my goal this year is to reach 1,000 subscribers, but looking at how it's going, I don't think it's going to get there. Not that I've succeeded once I've done that, but it's just, it's always been how I approach things. Plus, like in my mind, if you're about to have a channel, if you want to motivate yourself, you just got to have a goal. And you know, it's quite logical to have that, you know, I gotta hit 1,000, because at least that's a milestone. And previously I've had a channel with hubby, and I understand that the fact that we're going back and forth, I'm doing cross-stitch related stuff and he's doing his Warhammer or whatever, like wargaming content, that kind of really messed up the algorithm. So we weren't getting promoted, people weren't seeing us, plus also like people didn't really want to see other things that they didn't care about. I got that. And yeah, we separated the channel, he took over, and his channel is doing great. And I'm very, very happy for him. But like with my channel, I thought, okay, if I made my content solely on cross-stitch and I keep doing what I do, surely I'll get there after, you know, a couple years. But no, not yet. And also I guess the fact that my very first couple of videos did really well kind of gave me that boost, and I thought, I finally got it easy, maybe I would get there. But then clearly algorithm did something to really promote your first few and then just slow down, reverted back to normal, and that probably didn't help either. And I know you shouldn't look at statistics, you shouldn't look at analysis, all these things, you should just have fun, I get it. And I'm not saying this is your fault, you're not watching, you don't like what I do, or YouTube sucks. It's, don't know, being personal and not promoting me or anything. I'm not saying that. And I get it is like the way I approach things, my attitude needs to change. The way I think about things need to be changed. I understand that. But it's very hard to do, especially like the way I was brought up. Growing up in China, you're always comparing with other people. May it be from yourself or from your parents, you always get compared. There's always goal. When you go into something, there has to be a goal, and you should try to get better and better and better. Now, being in Australia for so long, certain things get mellowed out, but I guess now it's kind of just built into your brain as a second nature. You want to do something, there should be certain, I guess, milestones you should tick, and that means you're like right on track. If you're not reaching your milestone, there must be a reason. You should find the problems, solve it, try to improve, get there eventually. And I guess it didn't help that sometimes I'm quite obsessive as well. And especially when I just release a video, I would check on the channel statistics 10, 12, 20 times a day. If it's not going well, if it's not going up, I would get really upset. And also you don't really want to think that you suck, because that doesn't really boost your confidence either. You would think, oh, is it because of me that people don't want to watch? Is it because of what I do? Probably, yes, it's because of me. But thinking that way also kind of brings you down. And what kind of makes it quite hard is, I know I can't change what I do. I don't want to change how I approach things, like in a more economical fashion, just because I want the statistics to go better. And I feel like that's kind of betraying my personality as well. So yeah, I just, in my mind, I was just in that corner. I couldn't get out. I didn't know what to do. So now, instead of checking my channel, first of all, I try not to click on that YouTube, the studio on your phone. Instead, I change the default. Like if I do click on the YouTube studio thingo, the channel that pops up would be hubby's channel, JP's channel. And, you know, his channel is doing well. So I would see, oh, okay, he gained 2 more subscribers. Good on him. And that kind of makes my mood much better, rather than, oh, I just uploaded a video and I lost 6 subscribers and I couldn't explain why. I think for me, the most anxiety-inducing part would be something happened and I couldn't explain it. Like it's unknown and I would never be able to know why that happened. So that would be really frustrating. And in terms of a channel, that's what it is. I guess you don't know why people are subscribing to you. It must be because you're not too shit. But yeah, you don't know why people are leaving. It could be because you said this, or you said this pattern sucked, or you said, oh, don't buy too many things. You said save money and they felt bad or something. But yeah, not knowing why was pretty much the biggest stressor for me. But I think after I guess readjusting my expectation, I am feeling better now. And I am very set on the fact that I'm not going to change what I do. I'm not going to suddenly start 50 things, do, I don't know, 2 whip parades every year just so that people will want to watch me or make my content more interesting, because then I'll start stressing about, you know, how many things I can't finish, because I'm just generally very anxious and worried. I call myself a worrier, like constant worrier, because that's what I do. Because I told you, like, I'm really scared of the unknown, I try to prepare myself to expect as much as I can so I don't get too surprised. Yeah, I know if I do certain things, something else will get me really stressed out, so then I just don't do it. And that's kind of worked in a lot of situations. Yeah, so that's how I'm going to deal with this channel. I'm not going to compromise on what I want to do and how I approach cross stitch as a hobby, just because I want to do better with the channel. So another big thing was our family planning thing wasn't going successfully. We have been trying second time because the first time we had a miscarriage, maybe 2 months in trying. 2 years later, now, still nothing happened. I guess logically that didn't make sense, did it? So after I had that miscarriage, we sort of held back for a year, just so that my body will recover. And then we started trying again about a year ago, and nothing happened yet. This is another thing. You can see like a constant theme, because I don't know what went wrong. You can't see internally what was the problem, so you can't rectify it. And also, I guess like naturally people do certain things to make sure, you know, I'm healthy, I'm prepared to have a baby. So like I didn't, you know, dye my hair much, didn't do my nails, and no alcohol. Like in terms of career choices, I was getting ready, you know, maybe I could get pregnant anytime, so I couldn't look for a new job. What if, you know, I decided to change to a new job and then there's a baby coming along? What am I supposed to do with my maternity leave? Because you need to be employed for 12 months before you could go on maternity leave to get paid and all that. Also, what about the next big trip? I can't go on a plane when I'm, you know, pregnant, just pregnant, you know, first trimester, or when I'm heavily pregnant. It's just not safe. Like all these things that maybe other people wouldn't think about, it's all in my head. So it's like a more stressful situation for me than a normal person. So yeah, it hasn't gone well. And what happened recently that really sort of made it explode was one of my friends. I mean, it's a good thing that she told me, oh, I'm pregnant. I was a little bit surprised because I didn't think they were going to plan this sort of so fast. Last time when I saw her, she said, oh, we might do this, but we're not sure because he's still looking for a job, blah, 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 blah. And then she said, oh, I'm pregnant. It's been like 2 months. And I said, oh, okay. And it's good that she told me, because I think normally people wouldn't tell anyone about this except their family members, you know, like within 3 months, the first trimester period. So, and then she said, I wanted a dragon baby. So we started trying Feb. Let's say Feb, I don't know. So pretty much she got there in 2 months. I think just that really triggered me. And I was getting so sad that day. It wasn't her fault. I mean, it's a good thing that she got what she wanted, because her daughter will be born end of this year, so December, and she got what she wanted. Good on her. But that just made me feel like such a failure. And I just I was upset for quite a while. I've got Rex here with me. He's just next to me. I don't think you can see him. Because it's about time for them to get out. So they're getting a bit restless. So yeah, I wasn't feeling fantastic after that. And then on top of it, since Big Rex is here, one night, I got home first. That was a Friday. I think this would have happened in May. Was it? I think so. End of May or something. So I let both of the boys out because they needed to pee. And then Rexy came back and, you know, everything was normal. Then I started noticing blood and it was smeared everywhere on the floor. And then so it turned out that he did something stupid outside. We don't know what, but he tore the webbing in between his toes, and it tore pretty badly when we went to the vet. And the vet said, either you try to heal on your own, and it's going to take months and months because it's such a flexible tissue and location. It would keep rubbing, or we completely separate the two toes so there's no webbing in between, and we kind of stitch all around it, and that would probably take 3 or 4 weeks to heal. So we went for the second. And since Rex was gonna go under anyway, the vet recommended us to, you know, also pay for a dental clean because his teeth are still all there, but there's quite a lot of plaque. So we thought, okay, let's just get it all done. So while he was recovering, every 3-4 days, so twice a week, we had to go to the vet to get the bandage changed just to see how it heals. And the first time there was also an infection, so a lot of drugs, did all kinds of stuff. We also had to like really not WALK them, like take them out. But it was very difficult to just take one because the big one, Rex, would just cry and whine for a long time. So yeah, that was all very stressful situation. And after a few weeks, the bandage finally came off, and we still couldn't really take him out that much. So we would always have to like put a little like plastic, I guess, cover on to make sure it's waterproof and all that. So yeah, that was a very stressful like 4 or 5 weeks trying to deal with the dogs. I guess trying to battle, you know, you can't go out. Also tell the little one he also can't go out at night. And there's also the situation. Oh, by the way, he's completely fine now. Yeah, so we just went for a big one in the morning as well. It's like a greyhound. I guess get together, socializing, WALK, which was really nice. And then if you remember last time, I did mention JP's car got bumped, and when it was parked at the station, and the car in front of his car was completely totaled. That happened in end of March, like a few days before Easter. And that his car is still not fixed. I mean, lucky enough, the car, like in terms of machinery, there's nothing wrong, so he could still drive it, but the car just looks horrible. We never had to go through the whole like insurance process, but it just takes ages. So he actually had third party, but because this became like a criminal with a case number and all that, so the insurance company agreed to pay up to $5,000. And when he finally got a booking to get his car checked out, I think for insurance sake, the guy said, okay, I had a look, I think $5,000 should be able to cover it. And then with the same guy, he contacted sort of the nearest mechanics for your car to get checked out and get a proper quote and get it fixed. And that appointment was like a month later, and that's the nearest appointment he could get. So that was already May. And then Finally, I thought, okay, you took it there, it would happen. But no. So once he got the car there, he got called the next day about the quote. And he was quoted 10,800. And it was very weird that the guy was asking, like, how much is your car worth? And JP was like, huh? I don't know, maybe like 12 grand or something. And he was saying like, oh, how about I just take your car, you have the 5 grand that the insurance company gives you, and I give you the other 7 grand, and you just sell your car to me. And we're thinking, that was nice, I guess, but it's better if we get the car fixed. Otherwise, there's like all these things associated with buying a new car. So then I suggested, maybe we should get a second quote. And then after like a week or whatever, finally he got his car into like a somewhat nearby mechanics to have a look. That mechanic was very confused why you need a second quote. And after he told that mechanic, the second mechanics, what happened with the first one, the mechanics was like, I got it now. And he said, oh, the first mechanic was so dodgy. He shouldn't have done this. And then the second mechanics was like, my quote would be 7,700. And clearly, like when I fix your car, there could be something else that happens, or something else doesn't need to be fixed. So the quote may not be the final payment that you need to make. And he also asked for like the quote from the first dude. And when hubby called up to get a quote, to get like a proper written thing, the receptionist said, oh, let me ask my boss. So now hubby suspected the first guy just wanted to see how gullible JP would be, and he wanted to just pay 7 grand for a car that could be easily fixed and resell or something, so he could pocket the difference. Also, maybe the 10,800 was way high and made up on the spot just so that it would deter him from wanting to fix the car but sell it instead. And the fact that they couldn't give a proper like paper or PDF quote on the spot meant they probably had to sort of make up different things to total up to the quote. So yeah, I'm glad we dodged a bullet. But the problem with the second mechanics is that he is by himself. So he's got like shitload of stuff lined up for him to work on. And now a month later, we thought, okay, next week finally he could get the car in and the mechanics could start working on it. However, the previous job that this guy had turned out to be, bigger than what he expected. So he had to work on this one for 4 more days. So hubby's fixing had to be delayed another week. And to make it even worse, the start of the car fixing is when he starts a new job. So he's a scientist, and the lab that he's in now doesn't have enough funding to keep him. So he is moving to another lab that's like really close on the same level of his current lab. But that means there's no working from home. He has to go in all the time because he would have no idea what he had to do. And there's no car. So yeah, it really, really sucked. But we'll get over it. I'll drive him in the morning, and then maybe he'll have to do an Uber back or something. We'll try to work it out. And that's like all the things, I guess shitty things that have happened. Then I guess one sort of good thing was I decided to fill my time with a bit more things. I started learning Japanese on Duolingo. It's like an app on the phone from end of May. So I am maybe 5 weeks in. I don't think I've learned much at all. It's still like really, really basic things because I can't spend, 2 hours on it every day. It's sort of like 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. But it's quite fun. Yeah, so I haven't tried to learn a language for so long. So that's quite good. I mean, eventually, at some point, we'll be going to Japan for a trip anyway, and hopefully that would be useful. And here I actually said the amazing story of Samba the fugitive brindle. And this is a thing that happened like in June. But I mean, this video is already really, really long, so I think we'll just skip it. Long story short, it was a greyhound that sort of got lost for 15 days and finally got found, which was amazing, amazing, amazing story. And so many people got together to help the mum that lost the greyhound. And now this brindle greyhound was just happily being a couch potato like before. And apparently after this, he's a bit more confident because he used to be a scaredy cat at everything. Like, he not hated, but he was just scared of dogs, people, anything. But now, yeah, he's a lot more confident. Yeah, that's just like a very heartwarming story. And I guess that's the end of this section. Yeah, the next video will be haul and plans. Now, I have done quite a bit of shopping because I was feeling very down. I guess, yeah, cross-stitch wise. And also I bought a lot of like skincare and makeup and stuff to like make my skin situation better. But yeah, the most of the haul I will talk to you about had nothing to do with the hobby budget. But now that it's done, hobby budget will continue. Because it's really helpful to regulate, to make sure I don't buy unnecessary things. And yeah, I guess you'll hopefully tune into the second video as well. And for now, I'll see you soon.